Welcome to the Business Leader Spotlight. The Business Leader Spotlight is bringing attention to those in our community making a difference in business. It is also an opportunity to identify the skills they have learned and applied to get where they are. And now, let us go into this week's interview.
Welcome to the Business Leader Spotlight. I'm your host, Mike Butler, and this week we have on our show with us Brison Dr. Scholarly Downing. Welcome to the show, Brison. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Mike?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to talk with us today.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't mind, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you're currently working on?
Yeah, sure. So, right now, my name's Dr. Scholarly, and I'm a PhD candidate at Walden University. I'll be majoring in human and social services. Currently, I am a life coach for LGBTQ and minority populations, specializing in transgender services. I also do motivational speaking and leadership and gender inclusive consultations, I should say.
Okay. Wow. It seems like you've got quite a bit going on with working on your PhD, getting that done, as well as what you do professionally. How do you balance and manage all of that? Because it sounds like it's pretty demanding type of schedule.
Yeah, plus being married, yeah. Say what they say, have a bottle of whiskey on the table, right? No, honest time management, I'm fortunate because my doctorate program, I took the family track, so it's not as demanding as if I only have to take 2 courses. I know that's like 2 courses, right? Compared to 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it balances itself out. I honestly pick 2 days out of the week where I just focus on school, which is usually my Mondays and Tuesdays, and Wednesday through the rest of the week is just business, So I manage my courier service that I do, right now, because I'm just the only driver, and plus, establishing these other endeavors. So.
Right.
Yeah, so I make sure my Mondays are basically my mental Mondays.
Right.
I take a mental break, and then Tuesdays I do school, and I follow up on the weekends with schooling, and in between I'm just managing business, networking, working. So yeah, it's busy.
All right. So it looks like you are, based on my research, you hold several different degrees, and it seems like education has been a primary focus, especially with you being a PhD candidate right now. Has that always been something important in your life?
Yeah, I like to say that I was raised to be a scholar. My family, my mother's side, definitely took education very seriously. I come from a highly intelligent family, I must say, but it was really, my mother got pregnant at 18 or 19, so her education career kind of was put on pause, right?
Right.
So it was a lot of pressure on me. It was like there wasn't no options. It was like you're going to school, you're going to college. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I was the only, it's just me out of my mother. It was just me and my brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go all the way to Fairfield to a Catholic school, for high school.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to college. So it was just like, it was really, this is what you're doing, and so I was the first to graduate in undergrad,
Mm-hmm.
As far as my generation. And I took a long break because I graduated in 2010. I didn't start my master's till 2018, and what motivated me was the fact that my mother decided to go back to school.
Okay.
So, because at the time she had the mindset where how parents are, they live your dreams through your children.
Yeah.
So it was like, you take all the accomplishments here, but she decided to go back to school, and she got her double degree. She got a bachelor's in arts, bachelor of science, and she went to get into her master's. She got a dual master's degree.
Wow.
All of this in 7 years.
Wow.
So it was just so motivating to see her, get her bachelor's. And then now here we both are in the master's program, And she's like, oh, picking up extra classes so she could get her master's first, right? So I was like, do you know what I mean? So, but
Mhm.
it was motivating. It was empowering to, witness my mother go through so much and sacrifice a lot for us to get to a certain level in life, and
Mhm.
then still pursue her personal achievements and endeavors and succeed at that. So, yeah, man. So that's what made me want to go back and get my master's and go through it, because in undergrad, I was playing basketball, and I had it was just hard to get the GPA. Yes, I'm not gonna sit here and say I had a 4.0 GPA or
Right.
anything like that. But so it was hard for me to get into master's programs after I had graduated
Mhm.
um, my undergrad, because I graduated like a 2.09,
Right.
and no master's program was taking that. I kind of lucked up
Mhm.
when I did go back to school,
Mhm.
and yeah, so I was grateful. I took advantage of the opportunity, and then I've been doing great since. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's outstanding. Now, you made a mention. You went to a Catholic high school in Fairfield. I'm from Bridgeport originally, so
Oh,
what school did you go to in Fairfield?
I went to Notre Dame,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah.
Wow, very small world, very small world. So my older brother, he went there for his freshman year in high school. Um, I didn't go not because my parents did or my dad didn't want me to. It's because during my time we had to take an entrance exam, and the day of the entrance exam, I was like, I'm here, but I'm just going to circle any answers that I wanted to because I didn't want to go to that school. So, but we won't go down those roads. But it's interesting how small of a world, because I did notice that you did go to Western Connecticut State University, and I was like, oh wow, that's for somebody to see that, that person has to be in the Bridgeport area or Connecticut area, in just a very small world, and being able to connect with you and being in this interview. So it's nice to hear. And any stories about the Connecticut area growing up or anything like that?
Well, yeah, man. I was born and raised in New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay.
Elm City is what they call it.
Yeah.
So, I was born in the inner city, but I like to consider myself sheltered. So when I moved to when I had to go to school in Fairfield, that was a long commute.
Yeah.
From New Haven, you talk about catching the bus at 5 in the morning. I'm like, what is this about? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, then I have to pray all day, at school. So it was just, it was a new experience. But you know what? I loved it. I didn't agree with my mother at the time. I couldn't understand. All my friends were going to the inner city high schools, and here I am going out to Fairfield. But it allowed me to be diverse and well versed, and able to interact with a variety of cultures. So I was blessed in that sense, to be able to go to high school at a private school, and then go to WestCon, which is honestly had a variety of
Yeah.
populations, compared to Southern or Central
Yes.
or the other state schools. So I was blessed to have that diversity.
No, that's great, because I do know, I remember New Haven and being up there a few times, so I know the area pretty well. Not necessarily like the back of my hand, but I understand it, and things like that. So that's interesting to get that different kind of perspective of going, having that long commute in the morning, whether it's taking the bus, taking the train, however you have to get there in those commutes, and how much it teaches you usually after the fact, when you can look back on it and see, oh wow, that's where I was able to learn how to get through things, or schedule my time, or learn how to get up early, and all of those little things that we don't pick up on when we're younger, when we kind of resent
Mm-hmm.
what our
No,
parents are doing for us, because we don't have that perspective.
mm-hmm.
um,
Absolutely. I mean, it teaches you to persevere, because even though things don't go your way, and it doesn't matter, it's like success, right? Everybody achieves success, but the journey to it is different,
yes.
So it was just a different journey as far as my high school education, or my education experience, period. It was just a different experience, but I achieved the same goal that other people achieve, right?
Right.
So, but you persevere through it. It doesn't matter, how long. I mean, you want to go back to our ancestors, they had to walk to school.
Yeah.
So me taking the 45-minute commute, it's like, okay, you know, get over it, guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Okay. Now, you have on your LinkedIn profile, and one of the things you have Dr. Scholarly, and you've trademarked this acronym Scholar. Can you talk about a little bit about the acronym and what was the beginning or the genesis of that acronym?
absolutely. So Scholar rooted from I incorporated a business, B Down Inc., which is basically my initials. And Scholar came from my middle name. I trademarked my middle name. So I was born female, and so I'm a man of trans experience. So this kind of ties into my journey here. And Scholar came from that because I've always been astute. So I joined this motorcycle club, and that was my name that I gave myself at the time, was Scholar, and it suited me. So as I continued, when I then realized that this is the route I want to go as far as my transition from female to male, it was like it was an empowering message. I wanted to take my middle name and make it empowering for people. So it stood for success, confidence, heart, outstanding, leadership, authentic, and respect. And what I tell people is that these are the seeds that are within us, and we must continue to water these seeds in order to continue to grow. I'm not telling people to be a scholar as far as being academic elite, but to be a scholar of life, to know that you are successful, to be conscious and self-aware of that. And success doesn't mean that you would have achieved, all these accolades and certifications. Success is self-love. Not a lot of people have that these days. So to have a self-love and a self-awareness of oneself is success in itself. And you must continue to have confidence and exercise acts of heart towards self so you can demonstrate that towards others, which makes you stand out and lead your life effectively and authentically. And to have a self-respect, because respect in itself gets you recognized and rewarded. So those are the seeds of scholars that I tell people to continue to water within themselves, because being a man of trans experience is very challenging. Being a black of trans experience, so I had to exercise those concepts every day. I had to love myself. I had to be aware of who I am. I had to accept myself first, which was a trial and error. Okay.
Right.
So, and I had to live in my truth. I had to live with conviction. I had to be confident, and I had to love myself. And I didn't notice how much I stood out from the rest until I realized what gifts it was that I brought to the table, and who I am. So, in order to lead your life effectively and authentically, you have to go through these levels. So yeah. So basically, that's what Scholar is. I have a youth leadership program virtually that I do about Scholar, teaching those concepts and helping children, just exercise these concepts so they could be to add to their well-being and elevate their well-being. So.
Right. So with your Youth Leadership Institute, how did you get that started? What was your thoughts behind putting that together?
Well, I wanted to make it virtual because I didn't want to just be limited. I didn't want to be confined to just one region. So my purpose behind it was to educate, elevate, and empower our youth to continue being great and they lead their lives authentically. So I created a leadership program where I break down each concept. I do activities. I give them homework assignments that it's starting to be embedded into them, these concepts.
Right.
And then what'll happen is I'll do an extra. It's different levels to it too.
Right.
So there's a beginner's level for a scholar where you just learn the concepts. You learn basically the foundation, and you exercise that. And then at the end, you get a certificate. I am a scholar. And that's the whole concept. It's for everybody to say I am a scholar because it's empowering. There's nothing negative about being a scholar, no matter who you are. And I'm all about redefining labels. So it's all about putting your definition behind it. about what a scholar is. So when kids feel empowered, like the inner city kids who might not be doing well academically, but they can still say that I am a scholar because
Right.
they are, successful in their own unique way. And
Right.
that's what scholar is. It's just to bring out their authentic gifts and to encourage them to continue being great by
Mhm.
being you. So I
Right.
always say, be bold, be great, be you.
It's very interesting because it seems just hearing in your conversation and in your voice the passion you have for kids and for people.
Mhm.
Um, is that what helped? What got you started working as a life coach with underprivileged and vulnerable populations, or was it? It seems like that, but I don't want to put words in your mouth, so to speak.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what it was that motivated me. I got 15 plus years working, doing case management, working with a variety of populations, underprivileged and vulnerable. And just being a kid myself, and like I said, leading the life I live, I didn't have somebody telling me, this is who I am, and this is how I got to where I got, or to be you and be okay with that.
Right.
I'm raised in this American culture where squares are trying to conform to societal circle, and constantly being rejected if something's not perfect. So to have a person who's different, who has an empowering message, and who is successful to tell you you can be great by just waking up and being you,
Mhm.
loving yourself, and the only validation that's needed is yours,
Right.
and to not give people the power or to not continue to allow society to contaminate and our authenticity. I didn't have that. So when I created this service, it was to be a life coach to help our youth and to help our families, right? Our parents, our people in general, to overcome life's obstacles and to give them a different perception and to not just base their lives off of how society defines who they should be, and to take the time to know who they are and tell society who they are. So yeah, and make them adjust.
Mhm. Okay. Now, I know you work with your virtual Youth Leadership Institute. What are the other ways that you're working with the underprivileged and vulnerable populations?
I do motivational speakings. I have a podcast called
Mm.
Transparent Life Conversations where I talk about it. I mean, the name is pretty self-explanatory, transparent, and
Right.
conversation. So, yeah. So I do my podcasting. I got my YouTube videos, Instagram. I do. Um, so I do a variety of things just to get my message out as far as that. And I'm still in the networking phases and collaborating with organizations that work with the population that I target.
Mhm.
So that way, it's just easy for me to get access to our youth and the population. So
Okay. So it seems with your podcast and with the other things that you're currently working on with coaching, with your motivational speaking and things like that, eh, have you seen a change in people's lives? And can you talk a little bit about how how your message helps them change who they are and how they move forward from there?
yeah, absolutely. I see it change because the way I interact, especially with life coaching, is I hold my clients accountable
Mhm.
by letting them know or bringing them conscious or enlightening them to the power that they give people. And when you realize the power that you give people, then you realize if you take that power back, how much more powerful you are. And I hold them accountable to an extent where, yeah, you're hurt. I get it. You're going through experiences, and I make them self-reflect. Okay, well, how did you contribute to that hurt, or how did you, um, you know, how do you gain control over your feelings? So it's all about it's a growth mindset. I take their fixed mindset and I allow them and I implement this growth mindset. So that way they're not just always pointing the fingers and being a victim of other people who are most likely victims of someone else. Like I tell them, about 99% of the population don't know who they are. So it's okay to be that 1%, you know, and that is conscious and stands firm on their foundation. So I see a lot of success, and I love it. It's the best reward for me because you know that what you're speaking into people is, or the seeds you are planting are actually being fruitful and prosperous. And yeah, so that's, I hope I answered your question, but yeah, that's my method. I definitely see it rewarding to just see somebody who didn't believe in themselves now are at least able to look in the mirror and tell themselves, I love you, so and actually feel empowered to be themselves without having to worry about other people's opinions.
Right.
Because I know it took me a long time to get there, so I empathize with that.
No, I can understand that. That's always a challenge. I think more people suffer from that self-acceptance piece because of their past, their history, or whatever has been in their past, and the obstacles and how they had to cope with it to be able to get to where they are today. But being able to look at that and have somebody hold you accountable in a way that's not necessarily, I don't want to say it's not painful, because it's there's going to be some pain involved with it, but they're doing it because they care about you and they want to help you succeed and help you become more than what you are, because hey, you've made that statement, you want to become more, and being able to do that. So it's very interesting and helpful for people to understand, okay, this is how you work with people and go from there. Now, if somebody has interest in your services, how would they be able to contact you or reach out to you?
You can reach me on LinkedIn at Brison, Dr. Scholarly Downing, or you can reach me at transparentlifeconversations.com. So that's www.transparentlifeconversations.com. Or you can shoot me an email at info@transparentlifeconversations.com. So yeah, you can best contact me there for sure.
Again, I want to say thank you, Brison, for taking the time out of your schedule, especially because when we record this, it's a Monday, and I know you're supposed to be doing schoolwork today.
Fortunately, I'm off because my modules has ended. So
okay.
The new one starts the 30th, so you call me at a great time.
Oh, perfect then. So we're not interrupting your schedule too much, but I do appreciate you taking the time. That's all we have for this week on the Business Leader Spotlight. I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us. Have a great day. Thank you for watching this week's video. I hope you were able to find one thing you can begin to apply to your life today. I would appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you have any feedback, leave it in the comments below. Let us know if you know of any great guests to be on the Spotlight. I look forward to your questions and your comments. Thanks again for watching.